Someone is right behind you, dangerously close. Their bonnet is practically touching your bumper at 70 miles per hour on the motorway. Your heart rate spikes. Your hands tighten on the wheel. And in that moment, you have no idea what to do, because nobody ever actually taught you how to handle this situation safely and legally. That driver behind you could cause a crash in the next few seconds that neither of you can walk away from. And the frightening truth is, it happens on British roads every single day. Welcome to How to Get a UK Driving License, the channel that goes beyond just helping you pass your test and actually prepares you to be a safe, confident, and legally informed driver on real UK roads. Whether you are a learner, a newly passed driver, or someone who has been behind the wheel for years, this channel is for you. If you find value in what we cover, please subscribe right now and tap the bell so you never miss a video, because what we are about to cover today could genuinely save your life or the life of someone you love. Let us talk about tailgating. Tailgating, driving too close to the vehicle in front, is one of the most common and most dangerous behaviors on UK roads today, and the statistics behind it are genuinely alarming. Tailgating is a factor in 1 in 8 crashes on the National Highways network, and research from IAM RoadSmart found that 81% of drivers have been tailgated in the past 12 months. It is the #1 cause of rear-end collisions in the UK, with around 400,000 rear-end collisions happening annually. car.co.uk. Let that number land for a moment. 400,000 rear-end collisions every single year, and tailgating is at the center of that figure. National Highways data shows that tailgating contributes to an average of 147 people being killed or seriously injured each year on England's motorways and major A roads alone. Hello, Rio. These are not minor scrapes. These are life-changing crashes, and the vast majority of them were entirely preventable. So why does tailgating happen? The honest answer is that it is not always deliberate aggression. Although people associate tailgating with aggressive driver behavior, it is easy to tailgate others unintentionally. For example, you may be cut up by another vehicle or misjudge the speed of the vehicle in front. National Highways research backs this up. Running late was named as the biggest trigger for poor driving etiquette, with 27% of drivers blaming time pressure, tiredness following at 20%, and 16% pointing to peak time commuting pressure. GB News. But whether it is intentional aggression or a lapse in concentration, the physical consequences are exactly the same. When you are too close to the car in front, your ability to react and stop in time simply disappears. This is where the science of stopping distances becomes absolutely critical. The Highway Code is very clear on this, and it is something every driver needs to genuinely understand, not just remember for the theory test. The Highway Code says you should allow at least a 2-second gap between you and the vehicle in front on roads carrying faster-moving traffic. This is made up of the time needed for thinking and stopping. National Highways. To use the 2-second rule in practice, you watch the vehicle ahead pass a fixed point, a lamp post, a road sign, a bridge, and then count 2 seconds. If you reach that same fixed point before you finish counting, you are too close and you must drop back. The gap should be wider as speeds increase, rising to 2.4 seconds at 50 millimeters and 3.1 seconds at 70 millimeters. Get ready. And in wet conditions, that gap must at least double. On icy roads, the required gap is 10 times that of dry conditions, meaning a full 20 seconds of following distance at motorway speeds. Surrey Live. Most drivers do not even come close to maintaining these distances, and most do not realize just how little time they actually have to react when something goes wrong. Think about what physically happens in a rear-end collision at motorway speed. The stopping distance is made up of 2 separate components, thinking distance and braking distance. Even at 70 mph on a dry road with a fully alert driver, The highway code stopping distance is 96 meters, roughly the length of 6.5 buses end to end. That is the minimum distance you need to process a hazard, lift your foot, apply the brakes, and actually come to a stop. A gap of 1 second is considered dangerously close, and anything shorter can reasonably be described as tailgating. When you tailgate, your visibility is reduced, and you cannot anticipate what is happening ahead, significantly reducing your chances of stopping in time. The TTC group. In wet weather, those numbers get worse. In darkness, they get worse again. Yet cameras on the M1 alone captured over 60,000 incidents of drivers not leaving a safe following distance in a single year. This is not a rare behavior. It is everywhere on British roads. Now let us talk about what tailgating does to the driver being followed, because this matters too, and it is something that often gets overlooked. Research shows that 60% of drivers say they are anxious when tailgated by another vehicle, and the discomfort it causes is comparable to someone walking directly behind you on the street or standing right behind you in a lift. Ireland. Live. That anxiety has real consequences on how you drive. When you feel pressured from behind, you are more likely to speed up beyond what is safe, make rushed decisions, brake sharply, or attempt a maneuver you were not planning to make. In other words, tailgating does not just put the tailgater at risk, it actively endangers the driver being tailgated by creating exactly the kind of distraction and panic that causes accidents. So what do you actually do when someone is tailgating you? This is the question most drivers genuinely do not know how to answer, and getting it wrong can make a dangerous situation catastrophically worse. The first and most important rule is this: do not brake check. Do not suddenly hit your brakes to warn the driver behind you or give them a fright. This is not only dangerous, it is potentially a criminal act that could result in you being charged with dangerous driving, even if the driver behind was in the wrong. Your job is to stay calm and make the situation safer, not to punish the other driver. If you are being followed too closely, the recommended response is to increase your following distance from the vehicle in front by slightly reducing your speed. Zootobi. This gives you more space ahead, which in turn gives you more time to brake gently and progressively if needed, rather than slamming on suddenly. It also gives the vehicle behind you more room to stop if you do need to slow down. By creating space in front of you, you are effectively buying time for everyone involved. Slow down gradually and smoothly. Signal your intentions early. Give the car behind you every possible advantage to stop in time if you need to reduce speed. Making it difficult for the tailgater to overtake is not only dangerous, but can cause a more serious scenario. Continue to drive safely and drop back to maintain a 2-second gap when the driver overtakes and pulls in front of you. The TTC group. If the road ahead allows it safely, consider moving to a slower lane to let the vehicle pass. On a dual carriageway or motorway, keeping left whenever it is safe to do so naturally allows faster or more aggressive drivers to pass without conflict. The moment they are ahead of you and clear, increase your following distance from them and carry on. The encounter is over. Do not retaliate. Do not follow closely in return, and do not allow your emotions to push you into poor decisions behind the wheel. No journey is worth that. If tailgating continues and you feel genuinely unsafe, the right course of action is to find a safe place to pull over and let the vehicle pass entirely. A service station, a lay-by, a petrol station. Any safe stopping point is a legitimate option. Your safety is the priority, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with pulling over, taking a breath, and letting a dangerous driver move far ahead of you. Now let us talk about the legal side, because this is something every UK driver should know. Tailgating is classed as driving without due care and attention, or careless driving, under Section 3 of the Road Traffic Act 1988. Police can issue on-the-spot fines for tailgating, and since 2013 it has been one of the fixed penalty notice offenses, typically carrying a $100 fine and 3 penalty points on your driving license. Surrey Live. However, if the tailgating results in a serious accident, the consequences can be far more severe, including a driving ban or even imprisonment. Driving Instructors Association National Highways has also been expanding its use of technology to detect and prosecute tailgating on motorways, with trials already capturing hundreds of thousands of incidents across key routes. The enforcement is getting stricter, and the technology is getting better. Drivers who think they can tailgate without consequence are increasingly being proven wrong. Understanding tailgating is not just about passing your driving test. It is about genuinely understanding the physics, the psychology, and the legal reality of what happens on real UK roads every single day. The 2-second rule is not a suggestion. It is the minimum standard that keeps you and every other driver around you safe. Knowing how to respond calmly and correctly when someone tailgates you is a skill that could prevent a crash, protect your license, and bring you home safely. On this channel, we believe that being a great driver means understanding every aspect of the road, not just the rules of the test, but the reality of life behind the wheel. If this video helped you understand something that school or your instructor never fully explained, please give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who drives. Because the more informed drivers we have on UK roads, the safer those roads become for all of us. Subscribe to How to Get a UK Driving License if you have not already, and we will see you in the next one. Stay safe out there. Stay back. And remember, only a fool breaks the 2-second rule.